Jaron Ennis has now joined Canelo Alvarez's training camp to help him prepare for the upcoming showdown with Terence Crawford. Still, Brian Norman Sr. stated that sparring with Jaron Ennis doesn't actually get Canelo ready for Crawford since their styles are very different. He explained that the only close similarity between Boots and Crawford is their natural ability to switch stances, but apart from that, they fight in entirely different manners. Norman added that he never really saw the comparison between the two, though he still believes training with Ennis has value because good sparring always helps sharpen skills.
A better chance, I think it's good work. Crawford, I don't think Crawford fight, not Crawford. I don't think Boots fight like Crawford at all. That was just, I think the comparisons they was making initially was just as they both were switch hitters and they both could be so naturally. That's really the only thing that they do the same. They don't do anything else the same, literally. So I never understood the comparison in that myself. But I think it's still a good look because all work is good work and you want the best.
In addition, Breadman Edwards remarked that bringing in Jaron Boots as Canelo Alvarez's sparring partner was a smart choice since Boots and Terence Crawford share several traits even if they are not identical. He explained that both can switch stances, fight as boxer-punchers, and carry a killer mindset, making the work extremely valuable. Edwards said he has known Boots for over a decade, first hiring him back in 2014 to spar Julian Williams, and has watched his progress in Philadelphia gyms. He added that this decision proves Canelo is taking the fight seriously. Yet even though some people are changing their pick after this move, he still favors Crawford.
I was getting prepared for Crawford. I would use Boots as a sparring partner. If I was getting prepared for Boots, I would use Crawford as a sparring partner. I think that they're not exactly the same, no two people are, but they're very, very similar in styles with the switching, boxer puncher, killer mentality. They got a lot of things similar. So I think it was a good move by Team Canelo. And I got a kid that I train that box Boots, Crawford, and Canelo. So, and obviously being from Philly, I've seen Boots in the gym for the last 11 years. Literally, the first time I ever hired him was in 2014 to spar Julian Williams. So I've been around him a long time. And I think it was a good move, you know. I'm still rocking with Crawford, but I know some people that was like, man, I'm changing my pick now because that's like the best sparring you could get. And they showed them that Canelo is taking this fight super serious. So I respect everybody's opinion, but I'm still rocking with Crawford. I still think he's going to.
Moreover, Andre Darrell said Jaron Ennis being part of Canelo Alvarez's camp feels like payback toward Terence Crawford for not facing Boots in 2024 when he was called out. He explained that Crawford instead chose a bigger chance by going after Canelo Alvarez on September 13, 2025, which offered more legacy, a bigger name, higher payday, and greater status. Darrell added that it is too late now for Boots to land that fight, but he looks forward to how this camp helps Boots grow as a boxer, improving toughness, skill set, and ring IQ.
Canelo, I do believe this is get back on Crawford for not taking the fight with Boots back in 2024 when Boots called him out. But Crawford was on the bigger and better things, baby. That bigger and better things being Canelo Alvarez, September 13, 2025. Bigger legacy, bigger name, bigger payday, bigger status. So, too little, too late, Boots. But I am looking forward to how you advance in your career after this because this camp is definitely going to level you up, man. You're going to get better because of it in every aspect. Toughness, skill set, smarts.
He continued by saying that this experience will elevate Boots in all areas and prepare him for future battles. Darrell voiced his opinion that Crawford may very well ride off into the sunset after this fight, especially with a win, while Boots will have to seek other opportunities ahead. He urged Boots to push Canelo hard in camp since Canelo will need it, repeating Roy Jones's point that Canelo must perform at his best. Darrell concluded by saying he is eager to see where Boots takes his career following this camp.
A lot from this camp, champ, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do because you're already a bad man, dog. I want to see where you take it from here, but Crawford, it's over. I believe he walking away in the sunset, especially if he walk away with the victory, which I'm hoping for. But you, champ, you got to settle for something else. Get Canelo that work, man. He gonna need it. needed. According to Roy Jones, Canelo got to be on his A game. You got to be on yours too, man. We're looking forward to seeing what you do after this. It's raining on me right now, so I'm going to cut this short, baby. But Boots, get somebody else, champ. Get somebody else. I'm out.
Greg Hackett commented that Jaron Ennis will gain plenty from working in camp with a top-level fighter like Canelo Alvarez, who has faced nearly every style there is. He explained that Canelo has already gone up against southpaws, taller opponents, shorter fighters, slick movers, and hard brawlers. So sparring with him brings huge amounts of experience and exposure. Hackett added that training with someone as confident and fully prepared as Canelo is invaluable to a fighter's growth.
I mean, Jaron Ennis get from it being in with the elite, a guy who's prepared for everything. One thing you can't say about Canelo is that he hasn't seen something. Canelo's seen southpaws, he's seen tall guys, short guys, slick fighters, he's seen bulls, he's been up against everything. So you get a world of experience with a guy like Canelo. You get a guy who's in full confidence with a guy like Canelo.
AKO said he was glad Jaron Ennis went to spar with Canelo Alvarez since it provides Boots with elite-level sparring that he rarely receives, as he is usually the one dominating others locally. He explained that this step also gives major benefits to Canelo, especially before a fight he considers a true 50-50 clash against Terence Crawford. AKO mentioned that their walk-around weights might not be far apart despite competing in different divisions and noted that Crawford brings more offensive variety. While Canelo's chance depends on hurting him early, cutting off the ring, and making it a rough night.
That he did it, because one, that gives him, I guess, top level sparring, because Boots always looking for sparring too, because he can't guys up here. So I've never seen him travel anywhere to spar. I don't know if he has. Maybe he does. I don't know. But for him to do that, that's a big step for him. But beyond that, it's a better step for Canelo, because honestly, somebody asked me the other day, I think my fiance might have asked me, like, who you think will win the fight? She don't really know boxing. So I was like, yo, this is actually one of the few fights that's 50-50 to me, because they both highly skilled, and then their walk-around weights, you really don't know how far off of each other they really are in regards to true size, because although Crawford fights at a lower weight, they may walk around at a similar weight, you never know. Frame-wise, they're not that far off. So, and then also Crawford has a lot more tools in the bag in regards to offense. So he got a lot of offensive skills. So I said, okay, well, if Crawford fights his fight, he can make it difficult for Canelo. And if Canelo can hurt Crawford early and corner him and cut the ring off real well, he can make it a difficult night for Crawford.
Yet Teddy Atlas said he could picture Terence Crawford winning since Canelo Alvarez's recent outings suggest possible decline. He wondered whether Canelo has aged in the sport, lost urgency after huge earnings, or simply no longer has the same hunger. Atlas also questioned if Canelo had been overrated, recalling claims that he lost the first fight with Gennady Golovkin and was clearly beaten by Floyd Mayweather. He added that while some excused the Mayweather loss by saying Canelo was too young, he had already been a seasoned professional by then.
I could see Crawford win it. And why? Well, Canelo's last performance, real quick, what could it be? I already went over this. You want to hear it in a deeper breakdown? Canelo, he's either old man time, that undefeated guy, he finally caught up to him. He's made so much money that the urgency's not there, the fire's not there. At least it wasn't there a week ago. Oh my God, I'm gonna say this one, that maybe he's a little overrated. I listen, you know, you can make the argument that he lost the first Triple G, you know, but you can make the argument he lost to Lara. He did lose to Mayweather. You can make the argument he was too young in his career. Maybe. Although it wasn't that young. He turned pro when he was 15 or 16. He was 23. He was already pro for how many years?
Moreover, Amir Khan said he knows Terence Crawford well and described him as mentally tough and highly focused, calling him a killing machine once he locks in on something. Khan explained that Crawford has a switch which, when flipped, makes him fearless and relentless, very unlike fighters who take a softer approach. He recalled watching Crawford spar and even wrestle with bigger opponents, taking them down and making them struggle despite the size gap. Khan added that although people often mention Canelo Alvarez being stronger or hitting harder, Crawford's core strength and toughness are overlooked, and many will be shocked at how powerful he really is.
Where, again, the guy is so mentally strong, and when he sticks to one thing and he's focused, he's a killing machine. Honestly, like, I've been there with him, you know what I mean? And I've seen him when he triggers, you don't want to switch stuff. You don't want to have that switch because the guy is an animal and he has no fear. With us, we were nice guys, you know what I mean? We were a little bit more nicer than him. When I was a fighter myself, he's total opposite to me. He's a proper killer, bro. Like, he don't give a damn. He's one of them that just, let's go to war.
You saw him spar bigger guys as well?
Yeah, I mean, look, he had sparring heavier guys, but I've seen him wrestling more heavier guys, really. And boxing, yeah, but wrestling heavier guys and taking them down. Like, bro, making them scream. Honestly, we were doing that. Now, that's why when people said to me, Canelo's stronger, but I don't know if Canelo, yeah, stronger at punching maybe, but at that body weight, that strength, that core strength, Crawford's a beast. People are gonna see, people not gonna expect that from.
Furthermore, Antonio Tarver said that both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have the greatness to win this bout, making it impossible to confidently choose one over the other. He highlighted Canelo's strength, power, and durability, noting that he has rarely been hurt with only one real troubling moment in his career. Tarver explained that Canelo has mastered either absorbing punches or avoiding them, proving his intelligence inside the ring. On the other hand, he praised Crawford as one of the most talented fighters who achieved success through discipline, effort, and leadership, inspiring many younger champions.
He's gonna win the fight, let's say that. Both of these guys' greatness can win this fight. You feel me? Both of these guys' greatness can win this fight. You would be crazy to think Canelo can't win this fight with his power, strength. And this man ain't never been hurt, really never been in trouble before. But that one time,
shout out to Cotto, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that one time, yeah, the Cotto, yeah.
The younger brother, the other brother, yeah.
That's the only time we see Canelo shook up. So he learned how to either take a punch or not get hit with that punch. Smart, you feel me? Tank, man, one of the most.
What do you mean, Bud?
Bud. I'm sorry, Bud. One of the most gifted fighters out there, bro. And he got it the hard way. You feel me? The hard way. Through work, commitment, and dedication, and being a leader. He's really led a lot of these young champions. You feel me? So Crawford has stood out from the beginning.
Richard Torres said that even though he is a big supporter of Canelo Alvarez, he leans toward Terence Crawford because he knows him personally and respects his skill. He praised Crawford's brilliant defense, ability to adjust to opponents, and versatility as a switch hitter equipped with multiple weapons. Torres explained that while Canelo always carries fight-ending power, particularly at a heavier weight where he is more natural, Crawford has the talent and pound-for-pound skill to rise to the challenge over the distance, making this a thrilling fight to watch.
I'm a Canelo fan through and through. He's one of my favorite fighters. But I know Terence Crawford personally, and I'm a little biased for Crawford, so I am leaning towards Crawford. Crawford has some of the best defense I've ever seen, and I think he styles his defense to the fighter too. You know, like what he did with Spence and some of these other guys. It's impressive.
Switch hitting.
You know, the switch hitting, being able to do so many different. He has so many different assets and abilities that I'm leaning towards Crawford, but I'm leaning towards Crawford in the long game. I don't necessarily. I think Canelo will always have that one-shot killer shot, you know, and so he has to watch out for it, especially at a bigger weight. Where Canelo, he's filled in that weight, you know, he was able to really like move up and take on and personify that weight. I think that Crawford has to be able to do that himself, but if anyone can do it, Crawford can do it. You know, Crawford's one of the pound-for-pound guys, and I'm just excited to see that fight from him, you know.
David Hay said that if anyone is capable of doing the unthinkable and beating Canelo Alvarez, it is Terence Crawford. He admitted he never thought he would witness the day when both men would share the same ring. Given Canelo's history of fighting at much heavier classes, including as a former light heavyweight and the undisputed super middleweight champion, Hay once believed his natural size would always be the advantage against smaller rivals. But after seeing them together, he realized their frames are closer than expected, turning this matchup into a true pound-for-pound battle.
One can do the impossible, and that's beating Canelo. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford. I never thought there was a version of reality where they'll both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed because Canelo's obviously beaten, because he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. He's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so a good bigger can beat him with little, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size. I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it, they're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them one and...
He explained that while his early prediction was for Canelo, his view has shifted since Crawford, much like Andre Ward, is a calculated fighter who would not take such a risky challenge without believing he had the necessary tools to win. Hay called the contest a rare clash of two elite fighters and described it as a dream fight boxing fans had long been waiting for. He added that a matchup of this size would have been unimaginable 10 years ago, but the modern boxing world now makes it a reality.
Canelo's starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think, once again, Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, the mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet mixing it up. It's one of those dream fights. It's a proper trades fight, that anyone who's interested in boxing wants to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. Does that make sense? Because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. And now anything's possible in boxing.
Andre Ward said he is excited to be ringside at Allegiant Stadium for what he described as a historic evening carrying massive stakes for both men. He praised Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford for risking their legacies, reputations, and super middleweight standing at this point in their careers, pointing out how rare it is in modern boxing to see top stars choose high-risk challenges over safer paths.
Excited to be a part of this event. I'm excited to be ringside, calling this great card and this great matchup. Historic event for many, many reasons for both fighters. Super middleweight supremacy on the line, legacies on the line, your namesake and reputation is on the line. And I just take my hat off to both of these fighters for putting everything on the line late in their careers the way that they are. This is rare, and it's becoming more and more rare in boxing. Guys don't want this kind of smoke. They really don't want to face another counterpart that can ruin everything that they've built. And it really don't matter how much money's on the table for a lot of guys. They'd rather take a lesser risk for less money than to risk everything like these two fighters are doing. So I take my...
Timothy Bradley Jr. said he expects Canelo Alvarez to attempt to control the center of the ring and perhaps move lightly on his feet at the start, since both fighters will want to test each other's power early. He explained that the opening rounds will revolve around positioning, balance, and finding the correct range to land effectively while avoiding counters, noting that Canelo generally finds his rhythm faster than Terence Crawford.
Canelo will try to control the center of the ring. I think he might even box a little bit on his toes, due to the fact because he wants to feel the punching power, and vice versa. Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. In the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm. Understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting in. It takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right.
Hamza Shiraz added that he views the fight as very competitive through the opening 6 rounds, but afterward he believes Canelo will begin to assert himself and take over as the bout continues.
His fight with Terence to go in September. I expect the fight to be very competitive for the first 6 rounds. I think Canelo to take over and dominate.
Ronnie Shields said he views the matchup as a thrilling one and believes Terence Crawford truly has a real chance to prevail. He explained that Crawford brings a different style compared to opponents like Callum Smith or Arislandi Lara, using his stance-switching ability, variety of movement, and counterpunching to create openings. Shields added that if Crawford can make Canelo Alvarez miss and immediately exploit those mistakes, he can disrupt Canelo's rhythm and put him in uncomfortable spots, which he considers the most effective way to challenge Canelo's dominance.
I've been asked this question a lot the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And I really and truly believe that Crawford has a great chance. Crawford is not going to fight him like School fought him. He's not going to fight him like Lara fought him. Crawford is going to be doing a little bit of ins and out, I believe. Turning left-handed and right-handed. And, you know, for me, I think he's going to give Canelo problems because Canelo probably going to think he's going to be moving a lot. But I don't think so. I think Crawford is going to practice, you know, rely on his counter-punching abilities and then start taking the lead and putting Canelo in positions he's never been in, you know, in a long time. So, and I think that's the right way to fight Canelo. You know, you can't worry about his power. You just got to worry about making him miss and then countering and being effective. And Crawford has all the ability to do.
That's all for today's video. So, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the upcoming Canelo vs. Crawford showdown? We'd love to hear your opinions in the comments. Smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and leave your thoughts in the comments. This is Fighter's Legacy, where warriors never fade.